I want to take a moment to talk about something really important: mental health. Now, I've had the chance to try therapy a few times in my life, and let me tell you, it's always been a helpful tool when sorting through difficult moments. Therapy gave me the space to work through challenges, and more importantly, it helped me gain tools to deal with whatever life throws my way. That's why I'm excited to share something I think is really awesome. Rula. It's a healthcare company that makes therapy more accessible so you can get the support you need when you need it. Finding the right therapist can feel overwhelming, but with Rula, it's easier than ever. With a network of over 10,000 therapists and psychiatrists nationwide, you can find the perfect match for your needs, preferences, and state requirements, whether you're looking for talk therapy or medication management. Plus, most major insurances are accepted, so you can pay as little as $15 per session. And another thing that sets Rula apart is their end-to-end care. They're with you every step of the way, from matching you with the right professional to scheduling appointments and even tracking your progress. Rula is dedicated to your success, ensuring you get quality care with carefully screened providers and support throughout your journey. So whether you're looking for therapy or medication help, Rula has the range of care you need. It's all about finding the right solution, even if you're not exactly sure what that is. Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/diaries to get started today. After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/diaries and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
I can say to my new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, hey, find a keto-friendly restaurant nearby and text it to Beth and Steve. And it does without me lifting a finger, so I can get in more squats anywhere I can. 1, 2, 3.
Will that be cash or credit?
Credit. 4.
Galaxy S25 Ultra, the AI companion that does the heavy lifting so you can do you. Get yours at Samsung.com. Compatible with select apps. Requires Google Gemini account. Results may vary based on input. Check responses for accuracy.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online, Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Unscripted, where we talk about anything and everything. I'm Paige.
And I'm Natalie. We have some pretty interesting things for you this week. At least I think they're interesting, so hopefully you guys think they're interesting too. I don't know if you want to dive in with yours. If not,
I think I'm going to dive in with the small, interesting update from Love is Blind. We were talking about this in the last episode about Joey and Madison and Monica. Well, apparently Joey has been spotted out and about in Minnie kissing other girls from Love is Blind. He was spotted kissing Sarah, who was with a guy named Ben. And Sarah and Ben had differences in religion, and they did share some core beliefs, which is why I think they kind of made it to where they did, which was engagement. But it's understandable why they didn't work out. So Sarah was with Ben. Joey was, again, with Monica. And I guess if you don't live in Minnesota, you might not know this, which I only learned it from TikTok. Many moons ago, I follow a creator from Minnesota, and she was telling everybody that, like, hey, Love is Blind is filming. Everybody's going to be from Minneapolis. And then she starts talking about all the rumors that were swirling. And this is probably a year or so ago. Her name's Andra. I love her. And she was talking about how everybody's gossiping because that's just how Minnesota, maybe Minneapolis, but I'm pretty sure she was talking about Minnesota as a whole. I guess it's just kind of like a gossipy small town feel for an entire state, probably. So I thought that was really funny. And it's proving to be really true even post reunion, because it was someone's mom
Oh my
was
gosh.
texting them, hey, guess where I am? I guess they were out dancing at like a bar or a bar and grill. And they're like, send me a picture. And she did. She sent pictures and it was like Mason was there, Sarah was there, and Joey was there. And this mom sends pictures to her daughter.
You know that mom had her flash going off too. Like,
You know it.
or she's taking pictures on her iPad.
Yep. And then she's like, I was basically dancing on Mason's back before I knew it was him, meaning like the floor was crowded and she didn't realize like who she was dancing near. And then the next text is, Sarah and Joey just kissed. And I just slapped my knee. You probably heard that. Sorry, everybody. But just hilarious. And I feel like such like a Minnesota conversation, the gossip, the lore is out there. But very interesting pairing, Joey and Sarah. But they are both free spirits, or so it seemed. I don't really know them personally, obviously. But yeah, Joey and Sarah, we'll see.
It just sounds like he likes to flirt and kiss girls. So it could be nothing.
It could be nothing. They could have just been at the same bar randomly that night, or they could have all decided to meet up and go together. They both may not have planned to hook up. They may not have been hooking up at all. Maybe they are.
Maybe it was the alcohol.
Maybe exactly. It was the alcohol of that night. Who knows? When you're out and about and you're single, anything could happen.
I think that's something that we do need to underscore. Both these people are single at this point. So they really aren't doing anything untowards. Unlike when Joey was sliding into DMs, commenting on other girls' pink hair while he was engaged to someone else. So this is like a completely different scenario. He was out, he's single, she's single, at least that we know of. And so it was two single people enjoying a night together. He just happens to be going after every single girl on that cast, apparently.
I still somehow feel like he isn't inherently like a bad guy or a horrible guy. Maybe he really wasn't meant to be with Monica and that was clear and they didn't end up together, but they could have. So it's like, Joey, what were you doing with the pink hair comment? Because of all the guys on that cast, you don't picture it being Joey who has some of these things going on or this drama behind them. And Sarah's a great girl, according to everybody that knows her. They all love her. She's a nurse. She's very service oriented for her fellow man. And everybody was like, don't mess with Sarah. Even cast members were like, wow, she's great. Oh, wait. Or was that comment about Lauren? That one might have been about Lauren. Sorry, my mistake. But either way, everybody around her loves her.
Now we know Joey loves her too.
We'll see if there's an announcement in a couple months, right? That they're together or not.
And I think there's something for us to consider in the fact that all of these people signed up for a reality show. Yes, it is a relationship-based reality show, but part of them have to want to be in the spotlight. And so even if it doesn't work out, which a lot of times it doesn't work out, at least if you look at the track record for past seasons, a lot of these people go on to have jobs where they're in the spotlight from there on forward and they make a lot of money. So this could just be an exposure thing for a lot of people that do sign up for it.
I wonder what kind of contract they're still under since the reunion's been released and everything, in terms of like if Sarah and Joey were dating or have been dating, are they even allowed to announce it? Is it a secret because it's a secret? Or is it like they're not allowed to say anything yet until XYZ point because people might still be catching up? It only ended a few weeks ago. And we all know we kind of have to take our shows in bits and pieces now where it's like, okay, I'm going to watch this show, then I'm going to watch this one. And you might be months behind. You could be, because it takes a whole year before you get a new season anyways.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we'll find out when they start posting a little bit more in real time on their social media accounts, because even those posts that they make are really influenced by whatever contract they've signed.
That's right. I will keep you posted.
Yeah, please. So speaking of late nights, obviously Joey and Sarah had a late night, something that people do after getting home from bars, or even if you're like me, you go home, shower after work, get in your sweats, and now it's dark out. You don't want to go and get food. You want it delivered, right? So who do you use? But typically DoorDash. Well, DoorDash just announced a buy now, pay later partnership with Klarna. And I know this sounds like an interesting topic to bring up, but it just really struck a chord with me because I really believe that this arrangement with this financial tech service is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's going to allow customers to defer payments on orders like takeout, but it's also going to allow customers to defer payments on electronics and makeup. I don't know if anyone's ever used Klarna. I haven't, but I did pull up a couple of articles about the DoorDash partnership. New York Times reported on it, I believe Wall Street Journal. And basically, you can now take out a loan on a $40 pad thai order or a $50 pizza. And I just kind of feel like this says a lot about where we are economically.
It feels so
icky.
End game capitalism to me. And I'm not even going to speak completely against capitalism, but this feels very unchecked end game. We also have people out here saying that water is not a basic human right that are actually in power in this country, which is really gross. I mean, well, it's nice to have that option if you can't afford to buy food to be able to get it and pay later. But at the same time, there's that old school saying, don't spend money that you don't have yet. I think I'm not even saying the phrase right, but that's what the phrase means. And my dad always told me that, like, if you don't have it, don't spend it yet. So like, don't buy a cheeseburger and fries for $25 on DoorDash if you're not even going to have that $25 for 2 more weeks until you get paid again. This is part of the problem, and it just compounds. And it goes back to a saying that I think I was starting to tell you about while we were not recording an unscripted episode. So I'll say it again, is that it's really expensive to be poor. And I'm wondering with Klarna, do we know from any of those articles, is this with interest that it gets paid back?
So what I was able to gather from the articles I read, it's for interest-free payments, but that's only if you don't miss a payment. And this is only available on orders that are $35 and above. So it's for interest-free payments.
Which is the majority of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because you can't buy anything most of the time. By the time fees are added on, a $15 order is $30.
Literally.
It's usually double what it would have been worth. And I just keep thinking about how in the New York Times article, there was this person quoted, his name's Chuck Bell. He's an advocacy program director at Consumer Reports. And he said that these buy now, pay later loans, like Klarna does, can be manageable for a lot of people. But he does advise that these loans should be used selectively, because if you're financing a cheeseburger or a pizza, you probably have financed other things, and you're going to have a lot of bills coming out at the same time or around the same time. He's really advising people, if you don't pay the bill on time, you start getting multiple late fees. You could end up, it could just be a really expensive meal.
Expensive to be poor.
Mm-hmm. And then the article goes on to say that research has shown that the buy now, pay later loans are often used more typically by people who are already in debt. So that's why there is this alert going around on social media. I did first hear about it on social media, and then the New York Times picked it up and Wall Street Journal. And there's just this trend of trying to let people know that, yes, while it is an option, it may not be the smartest option. I don't know. I just found it so interesting as someone who has ordered from DoorDash, and I do it very rarely, because I would say that the few times I have ordered it is because Tim didn't make dinner. He's a great cook. He usually is the one who is whipping something together that's very healthy and what do you call it? Rich,
nutrient dense.
Nutrient dense. Yeah, he's the one that's cooking those meals.
Just a more appropriate word than healthy, because food is food and healthy is being fed, right?
Right. I'm fortunate to not have had to do it, but sometimes you just want a pizza and you don't want to go out and get it.
It really is, because it also does provide that access. And the fact that there is no interest if you don't miss a payment, that I think is nice. Is it great to say, hey, this $40 order for me and my kid is going to take $10 every week out of my pocket? Those will add up. You do that 4 times and then you're at $40 a week anyways. But no, we try not to do it as much anymore. But there has been periods of time where like we are door dashing anytime we're eating out. And it's like, well, that's bad, because you could probably go to a regular sit down restaurant and spend what you're spending for 2 people on DoorDash for your local burger joint, getting a turkey burger and a salad and some fries or whatever. And so it is a bit of a push and pull. And so I try, which I fail at all the time, of like, okay, if I'm not willing to get in my car to go get it, I really don't want it that badly. I'm just unfortunately falling prey to the access I have to it, making it an option. Because in reality, not even that long ago, 5-10 years ago, if you didn't want to get in your car, pizza was the only option. And maybe Chinese food delivers. I know that started picking up, and then DoorDash hit, and it hit big. And by the way, I am not above it all to say that I have also delivered for DoorDash. And that was a really cool, quick way to make a buck when I was in between campuses and stuff like that. Or just saying, hey, I need to pay for fertility treatments. And so, yeah, I want to go clothes shopping, but I don't want to spend the money I have now or dip into savings because I'm saving. So I'm going to go make some deliveries, and you get paid weekly. I haven't done it in many years, so I don't know what it looks like now. I know it's slightly different, but so I see the good and the bad with this all. I think that access has its importance, and that's what this is doing. But it's also so dangerous if you get wrapped up with constant Klarna payments that maybe you've forgotten about. Because by the way, Chase does this too with Pay in 4, and you can turn automatic payments on too. So you never miss a payment, or you will get a late payment fee. And it's helping me replace something that is not super cheap. And I'm giving my mom the one that I have now, but I want this color. So I'm being really silly and buying something I already have in a different color because my mom wants the one that I have and she's fine with that. And the one I have is pretty new as well. Like I bought it several weeks ago. Like it's new, but I was like, oh, they released a color that I wanted. Like, Mom, do you want this? And so I bought it.
Is it a Stanley?
This episode is sponsored in part by our friends at Hers. Let's face it, weight loss can feel overwhelming to say the least. That's why Hers is changing the game. By providing access to GLP-1 medications plus expert care, they make your goals more achievable. Hers is literally transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans that are delivered straight to your door if prescribed. Hers offers a holistic weight loss program with personalized solutions that include compounded GLP-1 weekly injections that feature the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, or even oral medication kits. It's so easy to do. Here's how it works. After you submit an online intake form, a licensed medical provider will determine what plan is best for you. If prescribed, your program includes medication, ongoing care, and online support, and it's all at one low cost. Weight loss plans are more affordable through Hers with compounded GLP-1 injections starting at $165 per month. That's with a 12-month plan paid up front for new subscribers. No hidden fees, and absolutely no membership fees. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/diaries. That's forhers.com/diaries for your personalized weight loss treatment options. Forhers.com/diaries. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased. My parents did an incredible job of helping me build healthy associations with money. It wasn't just about learning numbers, it was about understanding how balance and intentionality shaped our financial lives. Those early lessons set me up for success and helped me navigate the real world with more confidence when it came to money. And it's a big reason why I'm so excited to share today's sponsor with you, Acorns Early. Acorns Early is a smart money app and a debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Kids can spend what they earn with their very own debit card. They'll love the new sense of independence and getting to choose from 35 plus customizable card designs. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. You can get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. They might not realize it now, but starting to invest early is going to have a huge impact on their financial future. And the best part? It's simple. And Acorns Early is such a smart, accessible tool to do that. If you're looking for a way to make a real difference in the financial future of the younger people in your life, Acorns Early is an amazing place to start. Ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/diaries or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
Today's episode is brought to you by Acorns. People often say that the best investor is a dead investor. Morbid or not, here's why. It's because those who have passed can't make rash decisions, and they can't pull their money out in a panic every time they hear about a dip in the stock market. Acorns is built to help you invest for the long term, and, well, you don't need to be dead. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. What's great about it too is you don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. Basically, Acorns does all the hard parts so you can give your money a chance to grow. Sign up now and join over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/diaries or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively grow Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/diaries.
Hear that? It's SpringFest savings calling your name. Only at Lowe's. Right now, get a free Select Ego 56-volt battery when you buy a Select Ego trimmer, blower, or mower. Plus, get your choice of any 2 bags of Miracle-Gro organic soil mix for only $16. Shop these can't-miss deals in-store or online today. Lowe's. We help. You save. Valid through 4/2. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. Excludes Hawaii.
Pepsid Complete knows that food is one of the best parts of game day. That is, until heartburn strikes. Thankfully, just 1 chewable tablet of Pepsid Complete provides dual-action heartburn relief with an antacid that starts working instantly and an acid reducer that lasts all day. So you can stay focused on that second helping of chili without worrying about heartburn. All day based on 8-hour symptom relief studies during the day. Use product only as directed.
No, it's my nut milk maker.
Oh my God.
They had this purple one. It was out of stock, and I really wanted, you know what color it is. Tell them what color it is.
Purple.
It's purple. It's freaking purple.
She's a purple girl, guys.
I'm a purple girl. I don't decorate my house in purple, but I will have my things purple. Isn't that weird? Like, I don't really love to decorate purple, but I love purple. And so I was like, the purple one is back. Like, what the heck? Like, I noticed, and I was like, if my mom wants this one, I'm going to get the purple one.
And does she want it, or is she just helping you out so you can get your purple one? That sounds like something. Okay.
I made her a batch in this cute little milk jug. She already used it, has already returned the milk jug. She loved it. And so she's going to get the cream one. I'm going to have the purple one that makes me happy. It's like, look, fertility stuff didn't work out for us. I've got my dog and my nut milk makers. Okay. These things make me happy. They keep me busy. I don't have baseball games to go to on the weekend, or teaching a kid how to walk, or potty training, or buying cute clothes. Like, none of that, which is fine. That's not what was me. It's just, these are things that keep me busy. So I'm probably going to have little things like this in my life. So if a purple one makes me happier, and giving to my mom usually makes me extremely flippin' happy, how much she loved that cashew milk I made her, I knew, like, okay, this is going to go to a good home. I'm happy to gift it to her. And then I'm lucky enough to say that I have the money to get this other one. But I was like, you know what? I may have another paycheck coming in here before the pay in 4 is over. So why not do pay in 4? Pay 2 out of this one and 2 out of the next paycheck. Why not? Or you can pay in full when you're ready. Like, if you're just like, okay. So like when we go to the vet, I will use pay in 4. Or when I buy my medication, I will use pay in 4 because it reimburses you. And then when I get reimbursed from the pet insurance or from the manufacturer who reimburses me for my medication, bless them, then it's no money out of my pocket. Yes, the pay in 4 is going to keep coming out, but by the time it does, I will already have my reimbursements, because it only takes a couple days. So you do pay in 4, you don't owe for like another week. And then by that time, you have the money in your account, hopefully. So I could see where it really helps people out and keeps your bank account balanced. When it comes to food, I think it's very sad to be in a society where people are going to be buying food on what? Layaway? Isn't that what they used to call it? Like in the 80s, layaway.
Yeah. They actually refer to the word layaway in one of the articles.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to point out that I have also tried DoorDashing a couple years ago. And
I
you
love
don't
it.
make that much money.
No, it's not horrible.
A lot of the fees that are getting charged are going to the billion-dollar company.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to the DoorDasher.
No. If you do all day, 5 days a week, you could probably earn a little less than $1,000 a week, which is really not a lot, but it could add up. But also it's good if you're like, I need this new pair of shoes. I'm going to DoorDash a couple of half days. And you could end up getting like $40 a day and kind of skirt the edge off of a financial burden of trying to get something that you need.
Right. If you're saving up for something, it's not something that is as dependable as one would like.
Mm-hmm. This is true. Back when it was first really blowing up, and there was Postmates and there was DoorDash and there's other ones too, Seamless and things like that. That's the first one I had ever heard of, was Seamless.
I've never heard of that one.
I was staying with my best friend in New York. She still lives in Brooklyn. And she's like, oh yeah, like I'll order it off, Seamless. And I was like, oh, of course, New York. You know what I mean? And then when I came home, and that's when I started noticing things like Grubhub and DoorDash really, 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 really growing in the suburban areas. Because New York, LA, they already had their things. I don't really know exactly where I was going with that, but it's just something that has grown and grown and grown. And even myself, I'm just trying to take a reflective step back on it all of how often and when one needs to do that.
Yeah, it's definitely a great business move on DoorDash's end. I mean, they're going to make a lot of money and they will be able to restrict those accounts that aren't paying on time. So they will only be able to collect from people that have the money currently.
Hopefully that helps the consumer as well. I mean, we all know businesses don't always go towards that or care. Well, because you can't run the business without the money, unfortunately, But I think hopefully that helps people in that, yeah, it's layaway, but it's coming out quickly. Like even the pay in 4, they reimburse you, but then it's going to start coming out and it's 4 different payments. Or you could go in there, like when I get paid, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pay it off. But I'm just, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Or when I get my reimbursement, I go in there and I pay it off because I got the reimbursement from the manufacturer of my medication or from the pet insurance or things like that. Isn't that wild though? I guess I do want to take a moment for that. Like if you are on a medication and it's expensive, if you haven't taken the time to see if they have like a 0 copay card or a reimbursement option, definitely look. Most medications that are still on a patent and some that aren't will do that because they know how expensive it is. Like there was one medication that I tried for my autoimmune issues that worked, but I just didn't feel comfortable on it. It was like $3,000 a month. So eventually insurance would have kicked in on that because that's a lot of money. So I wouldn't pay that forever, but that's what it's being charged. So it was like, if I wasn't reimbursed for that, like, are you kidding me? Like I probably would have just felt like, I don't know how I can take this. So I looked at the doctor that prescribed it and I said, how would you like me to afford this? Because my current setup of insurance is this much money. And my current one is better now, but it's still expensive, right? And so she's like, oh, well, look and see if they have a 0 copay card. And I was like, wait,
you think she would have said that before, right?
Hello? But I thought that was really helpful. And so now if there's any medication that I am supposed to take like that, like as I've switched throughout the years and been dealing with the autoimmune condition, I look and they have all had one, all of them. It can look similar. Your payment back might take longer with one or be in a different format, but they send the money right back within 3 to 5 business days of me submitting my receipt and the prescriptions label. It's amazing. And it's very helpful because it makes it so that I can access a very expensive medication. So anyways, I don't want to go off on too much of a tangent, but since we have a bit of a platform and there might be somebody out there being like, gosh, I wish I could take this medication, check out their websites. They all have one. So anywho, speaking of health and stuff, you were texting me saying that you have something about 23andMe, and I'm really excited to hear about it because I'm all up on ancestry DNA, which is they're similar or whatever.
Right. And we have off air talked countless times about how genealogy is so interesting to us. And we just discussed all the different ways you can be related to someone.
Oh, I wish I could share my tree because there's a couple of ways that it gets slightly twisted, but not in gross ways. It's just like, oh, wait, they didn't even know that they're brothers, but like through other avenues, they're also both my great grandpas, but they're also brothers. Like it's interesting. It's called genealogical collapse. Anyways, yes, love genealogy. Wish I could share my tree because it goes back so far. I've worked so hard since I was like a teenager on it, like a long time.
So this past Friday, March 21st, the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta, issued a consumer alert to customers of 23andMe, which is, as we've been talking about, a genetic testing and information company, letting customers know that they should really consider restricting or deleting their genetic data with the company. So apparently 23andMe is a California-based company. It's been publicly reported that it's in financial distress. And it stated in filings that there's a really big concern about whether or not it's going to be able to maintain being a business. And then he gave information on how to delete your genetic data from 23andMe. I want to cover that because if anyone's listening and they do want to do it, I want to make it easily accessible to them.
Please, this is an important topic because even with these other companies, you never know when they could be in the same spot.
Right. So how to delete your genetic data from 23andMe, you can go to your account and take the following steps. You log in, go to settings, scroll the section labeled 23andMe data at the bottom of the page, click view, download your data if you want a copy, which I feel like if you did submit your spit swab or whatever it is, you're going to want it.
And your raw DNA. You should download your raw DNA too.
Yeah, why not? So you're going to click permanently delete, click confirm your request. You'll receive an email from 23andMe. Follow the link in the email, confirm your deletion request. You can also destroy your 23andMe test sample and revoke permission for your genetic data to be used for research. Because at this point, if the company is going under, you don't know who will get a hold of it and you don't know what their policies or practices will be.
No, seriously, reading terms and conditions and agreements, who actually reads those? Because it's kind of a trap. It's like, no, I want to do it. So I'm going to click yes. And by the way, this is long and annoying. So like, yeah, even if it's in there.
I actually feel really bad because I did buy 23andMe for both my parents for Christmas. I think me and my siblings went in on it. And I think we did that for Tim's parents as well, because it was interesting to see what we got from them. And I don't know, I feel bad now.
I bought it for my parents, but Ancestry instead of 23andMe because I had just already been on Ancestry and I use that website a lot.
Well, as an update to this story that just was released on Friday, over the weekend on Sunday, 23andMe filed for bankruptcy and the CEO stepped down. So as of this morning, March 24th, 23andMe has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in Missouri federal court on Sunday night, so very late last night. The CEO resigned from her role as chief executive officer effective immediately, though she will remain a member of the board. And I'm just so shocked at how quickly it happened because I'm sure people who did see that Friday report about deleting your data were thinking they had at least a week to do it. You know, the weekend gets busy for people. Everyone saves it intending to get back to it. But no, this is something that needs to take place now. If you want to delete your stuff.
And you forget.
Right.
You know, and then you're like, oh yeah, I need to do that. Like sometimes things take a couple weeks till you actually get them done. And they're already filed bankruptcy. So I wonder, because it's still popular, I wonder if somebody will scoop in and save it as opposed to it dissolve. But there are a lot of other DNA company options. So maybe it's not as big of a loss to the general public as you think. They could just go to Ancestry or MyHeritage or something.
I mean, I don't know what the company would be worth because apparently, according to other articles, the 23andMe stock has been basically in a free fall in recent years. And the company has been struggling to generate revenue. And all of that with this new information coming out just shows that it may not be able to be resuscitated unless some really good business person comes in.
Yeah. I think they were more expensive than Ancestry, and then they're not attached to like a family tree. So I think that that's where Ancestry became that number two, if you will. Because I remember like 23andMe was like the cool one, and Ancestry was like the one that was like a little bit cheaper, but it's really cool because they give you a lot of other DNA information. And then now it's like, it's connected to your family tree and all of this. So like, honestly, I'm that kind of person. Like all of my devices are the same brand. That's where I wanted all of that information. My DNA matches, my tree, because also I can see DNA matches trees and figure out how they're related. I could see if they're related on maternal or paternal sides. Like there was a lot of reasons why I chose Ancestry. And so I think 23andMe being more expensive and losing out on some of that stuff comparatively to some of the other options like MyHeritage or Ancestry, because those both have trees, etc. I could see why maybe they're just not as popular anymore.
You obviously made the right choice because not only is 23andMe now filed for bankruptcy, they actually had hackers back in 2023 that raised some privacy concerns. Obviously, Ancestry is winning in this department.
I don't regret doing it for a second. I think it's really cool. And it's more than just knowing like, oh, I'm half this or well, I guess half is going to be half, but like, oh, I'm a quarter this because this parent is half that. When in reality, maybe you're 18% this, and then you actually got more of your parents' other 50%. So it's like it's up to 25% of your genes might come from that. I mean, still in like your heart of hearts, if you will, because I don't have like a better word. Yeah, you are 25% of whatever your parent is half of. When you really break it down genetically and where those genes come from, it isn't going to be a perfect split if your parent's 50-50. Can you tell I have a parent that is 50-50?
Well, that's something that we've talked about too, even just in relation to people that are in your family. You're up to 50% related to a sibling, but it could be 48%. It could be 51%. You could be more related genetically to one sibling than the other.
Yes.
And it just depends on the genetics that were given to you and were given to them and how it worked out when you were being formed.
Familial wise, your siblings, you are just as related. But when you break it down genetics wise, it's a different story. And I think that's what people don't understand when they look at like, oh, we thought we were this, but like, we're really this. It's like, okay, yeah, but this is where we break down ethnicity and nationality and how there are, for example, a large group of Argentinian people that are ethnically Italian. And that's interesting, right? Because they would identify as Argentinian. They speak Spanish now because it's been generations. So when you break it down, those two things are very different. And in the US, things get a little bit blurred because it's almost like too common, like even more common than many other countries where you see and understand things like that or experience things like that. And we have broken it down so far that people are like an eighth this, and I don't know what I am kind of status is where we are today. So it can get lost on the other end because of that. So it is important ethnically and nationality wise. Those things are different because you'll also hear complaints too from Europe of like, you're not Italian. You are from the US. You are American. And it's like, no, we know that nationality wise, we're American, but like ethnically, American is not a thing. That's not an ethnicity. That's a nationality.
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
This episode is brought to you by 20th Century Studios' The Amateur. When his wife is murdered, Charlie Heller, the CIA's most brilliant computer analyst, must trek across the globe and use his only weapon, his intelligence, to hunt down her killers and enact revenge. Starring Academy Award winner Rami Malek and Academy Award nominee Lawrence Fishburne. The Amateur. Rated PG-13. Only in theaters April 11th.
Hey, this is Bill Simmons from the Bill Simmons Podcast, here to tell you that Michelob Ultra is giving you the chance to win tickets to the NBA Finals. That's right, the 2025 NBA Finals. Just head to MichelobUltra.com/NBA Finals. Michelob Ultra Courtside NBA Finals Sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Open to U.S. residents, excluding Maryland residents. 21 up. Begins at 9 a.m. EST on February 16, 2025. Ends on May 5th, 2025. See official rules at MichelobUltra.com/rules for price and details. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited.
Get ready for Netflix's gripping new medical drama, Pulse. Set in a cutting-edge Miami trauma center, third-year resident Dr. Danny Sims is unexpectedly thrust into a promotion when beloved chief resident Dr. Xander Phillips gets suspended. Then, with the emotional and physical stakes at their highest, a storm will push the hospital and its residents to their limits. Witness how life can change in a heartbeat when you're operating under pressure. Watch Pulse April 3rd, only on Netflix.
And I think part of it is wanting to belong and figure out where you came from and having a clearer understanding of where your ancestors came from is interesting. I always get a little annoyed when I hear people say, well, you're not this or whatever. You're not this. Well, yes, I am. And just because I wasn't born there doesn't mean that I don't look to that and have respect for it and an interest in where my family came from.
Yeah, and a partial, I don't want to say identity, but lack of better word, like a cultural connection to that because of where maybe ancestors came from. And by the way, like most countries, ancestors came from somewhere else because people migrated a lot more back in the day. We still do. We just migrate differently and in different forms and at different times. If you even look back at the US, you have different groups of people migrating for different reasons during famines, during this, that, the other. So we still do it. We just do it on airplanes now. And it's a lot more different and hard because there are a lot more even governmental restrictions in terms of like just moving to a country and living there.
You bring up a really great point about how we are all sort of mixed and it's very rare for someone to be 100% something. And it reminds me of this interview that Conan O'Brien gave, and he was talking about his ancestry. I don't remember who he was talking to.
Which is not hard to guess when you look at him.
No, I mean, he's Irish.
Oh, yeah.
And it turns out when he either did Ancestry or 23andMe, whatever genetic data service he did, it came back 100% Irish. And that is, yes. And I'm going to explain why he was saying it was a very unusual makeup of his DNA, because if you are 100% Irish, like he is, it suggests that there was some inbreeding at one point, because you cannot be 100% of something unless everyone is from the same place. And there are typically a lot of genetically related people in the area.
I could see that. And Irish people came over, what, like 120 years ago, 150 years ago during the famine, which wasn't an actual famine, I guess. That's like a whole nother podcast episode. It was kind of like forced famine. It wasn't like a famine where like, anyways, I'm not going to get into it, but that's a good deep dive. If you guys are looking for something to deep dive after this episode, deep dive the Irish famine. But they all came over, right, for other opportunities. So that would be a few generations of not anybody dating, marrying, and procreating with someone who wasn't Irish. Like, that's crazy. Or at least
Irish,
on one side, and then his other parent.
And
also,
apparently,
yeah, no, it would take both sides to like not, okay, sorry, I don't even mean to cut you off. I'm just like tripping out. Yeah.
No, that's okay. So I just wanted to look it up because I don't like telling a story without all the facts. So he was on the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and that's where he talked about the DNA test. And he actually said that his doctor was shocked at the result because the doctor had never seen somebody 100% anything. Like you're saying, it is such an unusual genetic makeup.
You know, and I was shocked when my DNA came back with like even more Scottish than I thought that I was. It has since leveled out and they've added in more Irish, but I couldn't imagine being 100% anything because again, I was like, whoa, like how am I 40 whatever percent Scottish? Again, it's leveled out just a little bit now and there's more Irish and there's like so many crossovers of those genes. But that's also what I like about Ancestry DNA is they kind of continue to update a little bit as technology updates and it's updating quickly. So like seriously, like every year, every 6 months, they do tend to update and fine tune. It's staying similar now. But anyways, I couldn't imagine seeing 100% because I literally was like, whoa, that's like almost double the amount of Scottish I thought I'd see.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned how every so often it updates and refines and refines and refines over the years, because when my mom did it, I had never seen this before. Her genetic makeup came back with 6% unassigned. So 6% of her DNA, they couldn't place it.
And hopefully they will as technology develops.
Well, over the years, it's become a smaller and smaller number.
Oh, see, yeah.
Because as more and more people input their DNA, they're able to broaden their understanding of which DNA came from where. But it was interesting initially to see that unassigned percentage. But all of this DNA, genetic genealogy talk really reminds me of Finding Your Roots. Have you ever seen that PBS show?
Absolutely. And my cousin was talking about it the other day. And I was like, yes, I absolutely know what that show is. And also, if you love that show, you need to watch Who Do You Think You Are?
Yes.
There's a British version and an American version, but the American version has since ceased production. But the British version's still happening. And it is like, I like it even more than Finding Your Roots, but they're both like so interesting. I love it.
I would say Who Do You Think You Are is a little bit more playful, whereas Finding Your Roots is a little bit more scholarly.
Yes.
For those who have never heard of Finding Your Roots, it's on PBS for more than a decade. It's been hosted by Harvard scholar Henry Louis Gates Jr.
We love him.
We love him. He brings on celebrities to trace back how far back they can go. And it's shocking.
Yeah.
Many super big celebrities are actually related to other celebrities. And I'm thinking specifically of Meryl Streep and Eva Longoria have ancestor in relation, and they are technically, I think, 9th cousins.
That's what I love about Finding Your Roots, because they will bring that up.
Yes.
They will bring that up of like, hey, and by the way, you are related too. And I'm forgetting, but I'm pretty sure like, was it Eliza Schlesinger, or at least her episode, that they did that same thing? And like, it was brought up like, oh, you're related to somebody, or, but yeah, he does that. And it's shocking.
It really is shocking. And sometimes it's not so shocking though, because you have people like Bernie Sanders and Larry David being related, because people always joke, oh, they look so much alike. Well, actually they have a shared ancestor.
Stop it.
It just is so incredible to me that there are certain family lines that have so many famous people.
Yeah.
It's amazing that these people with a shared ancestor are able to find their way into similar fields of entertainment, or even just in the spotlight. That person must have been so dynamic, or whatever they passed down must have been so dynamic.
Yeah. And it really makes me think about all of the like genetic components, including like the epigenetic components of how these people end up in entertainment, and just the natural propensity towards different coping mechanisms and things like that, that get people to use things like humor or the arts to get through life and process big things. And it reminds me of when Emma Stone was once told, it's a really good thing you found acting. I think this was by like a therapist or something like that. And it's so true. When you feel things so big, like sometimes you need music or acting, like it saves some of these people's lives. And if you really think back to high school, think of like the dramatic theater kids. A lot of people in acting really are just like grown up. Like, I love attention, and I'm not saying that in a negative way, kind of like grown up theater kids. Look at Taylor Swift. She's a grown up theater kid. She is a theater kid through and through. Okay.
I mean, you're talking to a theater kid.
Yes. And we love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But even when I did work
and
in
all my
TV,
acting stuff, like, look at us, look at us. And here we have a podcast. Duh.
But yeah, even when I did work in TV, you could tell the differences. Like if I were to walk through the halls, there would be certain people where I was like, yes, you are definitely a theater kid. I can tell. But I don't want to go off too far with that tangent. I did look up Eliza Schlesinger. So the person she was related to was Bob Odenkirk. And I'm looking at a photo of both of them side by side. And it is remarkable how closely related they look.
I need to tell Randall, because he loves Bob Odenkirk. He's Saul from Better Call Saul, right?
Yeah.
And Breaking Bad, which is arguably, I would say it's probably Randall's favorite show of all time. Probably. I never got into Breaking Bad. I hate to say it. I didn't. Thank you for looking it up, because I did. I remembered that there was somebody she was related to, because I love Eliza. I've seen her live several times. I got to meet her 2 of those times. And then now, since she's had kids, rightfully so, she hasn't done any meet and greets at the shows that I've gone to. Dang it. But that's okay. I totally understand, because I wouldn't want to either. But at least I did at the 2 that she did.
Yeah.
But yeah, love her, love that show. And everybody check that show out and check out Who Do You Think You Are? They need to redo that one. And you want to know what's crazy? One of the episodes was Sarah Jessica Parker. And when you look at her, for whatever reason, I look and I go, Salem Witch Trials. Like I just do. Like I don't know what it is.
Is it because we know her from Hocus Pocus initially?
Oh my gosh.
Is that why?
Thank you. It's probably that, just like deep ingrained from childhood, right? Because that movie came out in 1993. So I barely remember a world without that phenomenal movie. That might be my favorite, not cinematic, artsy, wartsy movie. It got to be Hocus Pocus. I will still laugh at it. I love it. Anyways, maybe that's why. But isn't it wild that she had an ancestor during the Salem Witch Trials like I did? Isn't that crazy? I still will not forget about John Alden. I will not forget about him.
And for those listening who may not have listened to past unscripted episodes, when we were initially called,
I think we called it a journal entries. Open book was like a first run of it a long time ago.
Yeah. So journal entries, we did have a Salem Witch Trial episode, and Paige talks all about her ancestors that were involved in the Salem Witch Trials. So definitely check that out.
I forgot that I did that during Unscripted. I forgot that. That's right. And we have covered the Salem Witch Trials.
Mm-hmm. I think just this past October.
We did. And it truly is an entire episode in and of itself. But I just think it's very interesting. I should rewatch her episode to see and remember like who she was related to.
I have seen that episode. It was really interesting, but it has been a while.
I don't know what it is, but I like when they go farther back like that. Like, can we at least get to like 18th century, please? I don't know why, but.
Well, it's nice because not everyone can go that far back. I think there are certain family lines, at least for me, where I can only go back so far and then it stops because whether it's documentation or whatever it is, you can't find anything. So when they are able to go back as far as they did with her, it's exciting because not everyone has that information.
It's like once you unlock it, specifically speaking from European heritage, unfortunately, but once you unlock it, it is like the floodgates open.
The European side of my family is easy to track, but the other side isn't.
Yeah, most indigenous communities and enslaved communities and things like that are not obviously as easy to track. And that is so sad. And hopefully there are going to continue to be more movements to help that. But there's only so much you could do when there just literally wasn't record because people were unfortunately not treated as people or a whole human, literally.
And I think that's where some of the excitement around these ancestry DNA databases came from, because especially for the people who can't track their ancestry so far back with records, this was a way for them to be able to say, oh, I am related in this way, or I am a certain percentage this ethnicity. I guess that's part of the appeal for a lot of people.
It gives them another chance to get to know themselves and kind of where they come from, even if they can't put a name to it, because they're aware there was people behind it because they're here, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting, it's fascinating. And if you've been wanting to do it, your local library has ancestry typically. So you can ask around to a couple of like your county's libraries or whatever. And usually you could sit there and do it. I did that in college when I didn't want to pay for it. And then now I just go in and out of paying for it when I'm working on it.
Yeah, because it can be kind of expensive when you do have an account.
Cheap. Yeah, no, it's like $40 for like the big one, like $40. Or like if you're just doing US records, it might be closer to 30 or something.
If you're just interested to scratch the surface, it's not worth paying. But if you're going to start digging into it, then why not?
And you can start for free. There's just going to be records that you can't access. But so start putting in what you know, which is what you need anyways, and it's going to take you time. And then it just blows up from there.
Hopefully you end up linking up with someone that you are related to that has done all the work. Because when I was on Ancestry, I ended up finding a few people I knew I was related to, I didn't know that they had an ancestry account and they had done all the work.
And you can
after
see the sources, right? And that's what's helpful is like, don't ever just like copy someone's tree because people do things wrong all the time. And I think even old records can be incorrect for certain reasons. But yeah, you can see the sources, the censuses that they've used and things like that. And absolutely, it can help you until you're ready to pay for a couple months, work on it, and then do it again another couple months or whatever, or go to your library. It's pretty cool. I think if you go to your library, though, you're probably going to have to write things down as opposed and then put them in on your free account. Yeah, because you're not able to just like access your account and get all that. But at least you can access newspapers.com sometimes. Ancestry, so you can access all the census and things like that. So just look at what your library has and pays for. They have some kind of genealogical subscription at this point, which is a lot of how I really started taking off. When I first started, this is how old it was. I had this stack of, it was a kit. It was like a family tree maker kit. So it was a program, but then it came with like all of these records from like, they went back. But like census records, military records. I'm forgetting exactly like all that it came with, but they were CD-ROMs, and you would put the records in the computer. Of course they were CD-ROMs. You would open up the program, and then you would access those like different. I'm forgetting. Listen, I mean, I don't even know. How did I open up that program but not have that CD-ROM in? I don't know. Maybe you would have to do it separately and like write it down. Yeah, it was not as easy as Ancestry helping you search.
Well, and then I'm just even thinking back to like my great uncle who's still alive, but he's very much into familial genealogy. And he has these scrolls, like I'm calling them scrolls. They literally are.
Oh, yeah.
That you unroll and they just go for miles, it feels like. And it's the family tree just all printed out on there. And he had to do most of it by hand. It's incredible. So we are pretty lucky that we're able to use the computer for a lot of this nowadays.
Dude, if Ancestry ever goes down,
that would be perfect, right?
I'm scared because I would lose all of that work, and it is no longer file-based. When I first started Ancestry, I had that file, right? I had the old file from the old program, and I transferred everything.
You know what that means? You're going to have to make your own scroll.
I was going to say, I might have to talk to your family member because I kind of want to scroll. That's so cool. But also, who's going to look at it? I could think of like one aunt that would be super interested. It always blows my mind, the people who aren't interested.
I think it comes with age, though.
Sure. But also, I think just that general interest of like, well, that person isn't here anymore. I'm never going to meet them. I don't know them. It was so long ago. Like, how many genes do I really share with them? It's like, but this is where you came from. It doesn't matter how many genes you currently share. Those genes still came partially from this person and this person. And what's really cool is on Ancestry, I forget how to do it because you know how when you're just like messing around and you're working, you like end up somewhere, but you can like see the downlines and see how many of your 3 times great grandparents you've clocked. And again, there is genealogical collapse. So if you break it down to like your 21st great grandparents, like you don't have 500 21st great grandparents. Like you just don't. It's like the same people end up through different lines becoming that. And it's not all incestuous. It's just there wasn't enough people to meet that, especially for how many people are here today. So it's just that through certain lines, they become your this and they become your that. I've even come across ancestors like that, where it's like, oh, you're my this many times great grandparent and this many times through these different lines or whatever it is. Like it's confusing to explain, but like one's like a many times great grand uncle and grandparent. So obviously the grandparent is going to trump that when you're like saying who they are to you. I've come across a couple. It's interesting.
And then you have family trees, or as a lot of people like to call them, family wreaths, like the royal family of Europe. They all are somehow related. A lot of them are grandchildren of Queen Victoria, who was Queen Elizabeth's grandmother.
What's the one with the jaw? It starts with an H. They were Spanish. Habsburg jaw. Do not get me started on that. That is a whole nother episode in and of itself. That's King Charles. Sorry, listen, guys, we're American. We're probably not going to be super duper duper knowledgeable at this, but look up Habsburg jaw. It basically came from incest and I guess you don't want to say but like intermarrying.
Basically, it was a very defined trait that this family had. But because they were so closely intermarrying, there were uncles marrying nieces, there were
cousins.
I would even say not so close as like a parent and a child, but when you're sharing 25% DNA, that's an uncle and a niece or whatever, it was close enough where there were these genetic traits that were being passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down, where they were eventually so closely genetically related that it became like a caricature of this genetic trait where it became known as the Habsburg jaw.
Yeah, it was number one, a bit of a deformity. Okay, so it's like the super
because over time it just was
right.
It didn't even work.
Probably an underbite, and then it just got worse and worse. And by the last one, he apparently had like lots of health issues because of this jaw. Like you said, it doesn't even work. I don't think he was able to close his mouth the right way or like it just really bad. He had trouble eating.
He was so sick. I think he wasn't able to do much. I don't think he had a lot of typical cognitive abilities. And I believe he was also rendered infertile based on his being so inbred.
Yeah. And it was such a pronounced underbite and elongated jaw. You guys have to look it up. Habsburg jaw. H-A-B.
I'll probably post it on our
S-B-U-R-G. Oh yeah. Post it. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, I'll post it on our Instagram.
Spanish and Austrian is really what type of royals. That's just a weird way to term it, but we're end episode here, people. I don't have a better way of phrasing that. But yeah, that's where it was taking off from. So you definitely, it's also called Austrian lip, but I think that is not as appropriate. So I'm going to continue to call it the Habsburg jaw.
Yeah, because it's really just this family.
Yeah, exactly. So check that out until our next episode.
We'll see you on Thursday for a regularly scheduled Murder Diaries episode, and then next Monday for our next Unscripted.
And don't forget, you can listen ad-free. You can head over to patreon.com/the Murder Diaries pod. And until then,
I guess we don't say
stay safe. I guess we don't say safe. But please do stay safe, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
My parents did an incredible job of helping me build healthy associations with money. It wasn't just about learning numbers, it was about understanding how balance and intentionality shaped our financial lives. Those early lessons set me up for success and helped me navigate the real world with more confidence when it came to money. And it's a big reason why I'm so excited to share today's sponsor with you, Acorns Early. Acorns Early is a smart money app and a debit card for kids that helps them learn the value of money. Kids can spend what they earn with their very own debit card. They'll love the new sense of independence and getting to choose from 35 plus customizable card designs. Plus, parents can keep track of where and when their kids are spending. You can get real-time spend notifications, set your kids' spending limits, and instantly block lost or stolen cards. They might not realize it now, but starting to invest early is going to have a huge impact on their financial future. And the best part? It's simple. And Acorns Early is such a smart, accessible tool to do that. If you're looking for a way to make a real difference in the financial future of the younger people in your life, Acorns Early is an amazing place to start. Ready to help your kids learn the value of money? Just head to acornsearly.com/diaries or download the Acorns Early app to get started. Sign up now and your first month is on us. T&Cs apply. Monthly subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled.
Today's episode is brought to you by Acorns. People often say that the best investor is a dead investor. Morbid or not, here's why. It's because those who have passed can't make rash decisions, and they can't pull their money out in a panic every time they hear about a dip in the stock market. Acorns is built to help you invest for the long term, and, well, you don't need to be dead. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. What's great about it too is you don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start investing in just 5 minutes. Basically, Acorns does all the hard parts so you can give your money a chance to grow. Sign up now and join over 14 million all-time customers who have already saved and invested over $25 billion with Acorns. Head to acorns.com/diaries or download the Acorns app to get started. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively grow Acorns. Tier 1 compensation provided. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/diaries.